Today we're going to talk about the July 19th, 2023 hailstorm that affected parts of Barron County. This hailstorm was a particularly interesting storm. It had a lot of moving parts going on, and it was a rather hard one to actually forecast as it was developing and moving towards the area. I'm not going to read through all this, but this is basically a brief overview. You can pause the video and read most of this yourself. However, as most severe weather cases go, this day had started like 3-4 days for me prior to this event. I was looking over the forecasting models and stuff, and I knew something had a potential to happen. And so I was monitoring it. And I was kind of concerned with it being the start up of the Barron County Fair. Well, that morning, I was in the process of doing my normal routine with my forecasting stuff. I was looking over the data, and I was like, yeah, this is getting to be really concerning with this setup. Yeah, there was a tornado threat. However, the main threat was appearing to be large to very large hail. This was not a very good day setting up. Still, the cams are still having some difficulties with this system. And cams, all they are is convection allowing models that we look at. And they were all over the place. So it was kind of like, okay, this isn't really helping too much. However, still, the possibility of it being a very bad day was there. Later in the afternoon, when I was looking over all the newest computer runs, I'm going, yeah, this isn't good at all. This was turning out to be a situation that wasn't good, especially with the start of the Barron County Fair, knowing there's going to be a lot of people there. Yeah, this wasn't very good. As of right now, I still knew somewhere in Burnett County, Washburn County, and Barron County, someone was going to get hit, and they were going to get hit pretty hard. For the timing wise goes, I was looking at, between 4 and 7 here, with more of the likelihood between 5 and 7 p.m. for Barron County. Still had really no idea exactly what part of the county was going to get hit harder than versus others. Here is the chase log. You guys can go through, read all this yourselves. Basically, it tells you where I started, where I ended up at, and blah, blah, blah. Needless to say, this storm caught me. I purposely did get into some of the hail shafts to get video, of course. However, the last part of the video, it's like, I'll show the video later, but the last part, it was like, $6,200 later of the receiving end of that storm. I had no choice. I got behind someone that was driving 25 miles an hour. I figured if I get to Highway 48, I could get west and get out of the main hail core shaft. And that didn't happen because the people that I was behind decided they were going to go on 48. So I knew I had to find a place to hunker down, and I did. And it was just amazing that I did not lose any glass in my vehicle. Now, when we get into the pictures, those pictures of the hailstones were taken about a half hour to 45 minutes after the hail had ended. So the hail was going to be much larger as it was falling versus in these pictures. Let's run through the timeline of the watch and warnings for Barron County only. At 3:15 p.m., the Storm Prediction Center National Weather Service issued a severe thunderstorm watch for Barron County until 10 p.m. At 5:21 p.m., the National Weather Service issued a tornado warning for northwestern parts of the north central part of Barron County until 6 p.m. Along at 5:51 p.m., the National Weather Service issued a severe thunderstorm warning for points north and northeast of Barron and Chetek areas until 6:45 p.m. At 5:56 p.m., the National Weather Service issued a tornado warning for the cities of Barron, Cameron, Chetek, Rice Lake and Summer until 6:45. So here you can see they have us under a slight risk for severe weather. Moving forward, this is of course their validation report to validate their forecast. It looked like they did rather well. Here's the probability of hail. As you can see, our area was in a 15% hatched area, basically indicating that they were thinking we're going to get hammered. Here's the tornado threat. They had us under a 2% risk of a tornado. Yeah, I didn't really agree with that, but I mean, the possibility was there. Our wind outlook, or their wind outlook, I should say, was 15% for damaging winds. Here's all the watches, or not the watches, but all the warnings with the storm reports. This storm here is a funnel reported down by Cameron. I highly question this report myself. I really do. From what I saw of the storm, that's a long story. Not even going to go into it. And this is what the map looked like. See a warm front to the north of us, and in a occluded front, cold front to the west, along with a low pressure system basically sitting over the Twin Cities metropolitan area. No, we don't want that yet. Now, let's go to the radar. First of all, we're going to start this back. I'm going to let a loop run through here for a couple times. Basically showing how the storm moved through the area. Alrighty. Now, let's break this down. Let's zoom in pretty close. Alright, here we go. Here's the beginning of the storm. Actually, it started a little bit farther out west, but this is where things started to get really ramping up here. As you can see, this is up in Burnett County. They, they have also picked up some large hail in this area as well. As you can see how the storm is kind of moving east-southeast, and it starts jaunting off to the east, and then it starts moving more southerly. And now you can see it really kind of took more of a southern track. And here's where the Chanhassen Weather Service had issued a tornado warning for parts of Polk County here. Basically Cumberland down to between Barron and Elmina, and then northeast up towards Hagen and Brill. I was kind of wondering, I was kind of questioning that warning myself, but they're the pros. We forward this a little bit more. As you can see, now the storm starts to take more of an easterly track before it starts heading southeast again. This is about the time I knew that this storm was going to be possibly somewhere between Cumberland and Rice Lake, is my original plans. So of course I started heading in that direction, but when I'm looking at this radar more and more, I'm going, oh, this thing is making a beeline towards Rice Lake, and this isn't looking good. And the Weather Service is trimming their warning down a little bit, as you can see. And now you can see here's where Rice Lake's at. Office is about right here where that red X is at. You can see this thing is going to impact Rice Lake. Let's get the mouse back up here. And here's when the Weather Service put out a severe thunderstorm warning for points basically northeast of Barron down towards Chautauqua and northeast and east of that area. And this storm was producing hail all the way through this track. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The Weather Service put out a tornado warning basically for points just southwest of Barron, southwest of Shatek, and this would include the Cameron-Barron area. We will look into that part of the radar here in a little while, but we're going to stay in the base reflectivity for now. And the storm is kind of cycling through here off and on, and right now it's kind of weak, but now it starts to recycle. And here we are, full-fledged. Rice Lake's getting hammered by hail. And it's still growing intensity here. And then still growing intensity. It just kind of like sat over Rice Lake for a little bit, it seemed like. And then it finally started moving southeast of the area. And it was still a relatively strong storm. But then, of course, now it just weakens. And boom. It's gone there. All right, let's go back. All right, that was the base reflectivity. Now I'm going to zoom in closer here and look. Let's look at the base velocity. Now, when you're looking at this, you have to be careful. A lot of people really don't know how to read this, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but there is some circulation with this storm. There's no doubt about it. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I mean, even if I go higher into the storm, yeah, I could see some, yeah, there's still, here we lose it. There's still some rotation going on here. I'm going to stay at the lower levels for now. And let's walk this through. Yeah, there's still some rotation in and out of this thing. It's not the best rotation, obviously. Let's go up a little bit higher here. There was nothing that was screaming a tornado to me in here. The possibility was there because there is rotation here. There's no doubt about it. But that was not my concern. And normally when thunderstorms are moving to the southeast, you normally don't see tornadoes. Yes, they can happen. They do happen. And they have happened before. But most likely you're not going to get a tornado out of here. Those storms basically come from the southwest, move to the northeast. Those are the ones you really got to watch. But these northwest movers to the southeast movers, they're just not, they really don't produce a lot of tornadoes. And if they do, it would be a relatively weak one. But anyways, you can see that clears the area. Let's go back to the lower levels. Let's go back here. Let's go here. So now we are going to look at, this is radar indicated size hail, okay? You got your legend off to your west or the left hand side of the screen, however you want to look at it. Now as we forward this, you can see how this storm, along with its hail shaft, is behaving. And right here, it still looks like it's going to be between Rice Lake and Cumberland. Let's get a closer look here. Again, when the storm recycles, the hail kind of lightens up a little bit. But still, it is producing golf ball size hail. And here, the storm is starting to intensify once again. And now, by now, I'm already into the hail shaft up in this area somewhere. And this is where I pretty much got stuck in the hail shaft and knew I had to hunker down because There was no way I was going to escape it with that other person going 25 miles an hour. And he turned on Highway 48, and I'm sure his speeds did not increase. And right here is where Rice Lake is just getting totally pounded. And we just continue this, and it eventually just moves out of the area and weakens, just like that, just weakens. Let's see, do we want to look at this? No. I'm not going to show the warnings that the Weather Service put out because they are here on the radar. Now, if I load the storm reports into this thing, and you can see that it's producing hail up there in Barron County, anywhere from an inch up to 2-inch hailstones are falling. And we forwarded not many reports coming out of Washburn County yet. There's a wind damage report that just popped up. But as far as any hail goes, there's nothing reported up here quite yet. Nope, that's just wind. Here's when Barron County started getting its reports of hail. There we go. There's a hail report from Shell Lake. So that storm was producing hail up in here. Another hail report just west of Serona, it appears to be. And damage, wind damage from about 1 mile northeast of Rice Lake. Another hail report, 1.75 inches in Barron County. There's our 2-inch report. That one there would be the one that was probably damaging the skylights in Walmart and Menards. And basically the whole town of Rice Lake was getting beat up. Our highest hail report is 2.5 inches. Maybe that might have been the one that was causing the damage to Walmart and Menards. Another 1.75 inch hailstones. Then there's that funnel cloud report. I question that one. I really do from what I saw. I have many questions on that one. And then if we continue, let's widen this out a little bit. As you can see, we pretty much lost any other reports out here in the eastern part of Barron County, southwestern part of Rusk County. So I have no idea what happened there. But anyway, it was an interesting one as far as to where this thing was actually going to go. As it was recycling quite a bit. It was a lot of, on my end, it was a lot of could have, should have, and didn't do type things, along with a lot of educated guesses, which normally when I'm out chasing, I don't have many times where I have to make an educated guess to what is going to happen. This storm was a different storm, needless to say. Yeah, that's all I could say. For anybody who's thinking about storm chasing or even storm spotting as far as that goes, you really need to know what you're doing. This could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse situation for me. I was able to stay out of the huge hail. Yes, I got into big hail, but I was able to stay out of the bigger stuff. Yeah, I did receive damage to my chase unit. But again, that part there was no fault of mine. I had my escape route planned, but when you get people out there driving 25 miles an hour, that does not help. And there was nothing I could do in that situation but to hunker down. And once you know you're up against the wall, you just got to take your loss. And that's what happened. I was come to terms with whatever happens at that point. So, yeah, this was not a fun storm. Now, to remember where I was at is a little tough. I think this one was out on Highway B, basically southwest of Hagen. This isn't where I started, but this is where I ended up getting pictures. And you can see this storm it's a pretty cool looking storm out in front of it. And this is looking more towards the west. Kind of northwest, west. And you can see this thing is producing hail, lots of it already. A lot of heavy rain going on in this area. This is looking pretty, well, yeah, pretty much due north. Pretty cool looking storm, no doubt. This picture here, gosh, I don't remember where I was at. I was like southeast of the area I was at. I do believe you'd have to look at the chase log. I think I have it all in there. But look at this hail shaft. This is a monster hail shaft, and it's producing some pretty good sized hail right about now. And this is looking due north. You know, to an untrained eye, right in here, everybody be saying that's a funnel cloud. Nope, it's not. It's just some scud. Let's continue. This was looking towards southeast, towards Cameron, south of Rice Lake area. There was no funnel clouds here, folks. Unless someone got this here confused as a funnel, I don't know. I didn't see it. And I'm still to this day questioning that report. But anyway, wider view of that. And again, I don't remember where exactly I was with this picture. Some of the hail, now this stuff was taken a half hour to 45 minutes after it has fallen. So this hail isn't really the original size, as it has melted quite a bit. But you can see, nevertheless, that's still large hail. And it was not soft. It was hard hail. And here's looking at the ground. There's some big hail pieces in here, or hailstones in here. This one stands out really clear, and there's a few other ones in here that stand out really good. And then these are hail piles. Here. This is all hail on the ground. Back up in here. And this is where all the fog's coming from. Here's another look at the, I call it the fog hail, with a beautiful sunset starting to happen. That poor tree, there ain't much left of that. That got, most of its leaves got shredded. And there's my chase unit. As you can see, they got damaged pretty good here. And then it's on top of the roof too, it got it. The passenger side survived. The driver's side got all dented up as well. $6,200 worth of damage. But you know what? It's a chase unit, so these hail dents kind of market. Here's one of my neighbors and good friends' son's vehicle. Cracked windshield, lot of hail damage here. some of the shredded cornfield here that I saw. Another view. Here's a bean field, what's left of it. Another bean field for what's left of it. And here's some shredded leaves on the road. Here's a camper that got destroyed. As you can see, all these hail dents. I mean, that thing was beat up pretty bad. One of the houses, I mean, there were so many, I could have spent all day and all night video recording all the damage. But look at this. This is just unreal. Actually, if I blow that up, it's just unreal. Actually, what I'm going to do, let's go back and do it the right way. All right. Here's a storm looking to the northwest out on Highway B, southwest of Hagen. Oh. This is more looking to the west, northwest, like this back here, but look at this. This is about ready to hit me. Nice hail shaft, heavy precipitation going on. Looking due north at this monster. Look at all this hail in here. Again, I don't remember where I was at when I took this picture. It was southeast of where I was. The chase logs would say that. This is looking due north. Here's where I could, to the untrained eye, someone would probably think that's a funnel cloud. It is not a funnel cloud. Here's looking to the southeast, towards Cameron and right between Cameron and Race Lake. Still not for sure that funnel cloud report, unless they're thinking it was this. But I didn't see any funnels with that storm. Here's a wider view of that same area. And the hail, like I said before, you're looking at half hour to 45 minutes. I took these pictures after the hail had stopped. So this stuff was much larger as it was falling. Hail covered ground, big hailstones still sitting in this thing. As you can see, and that's like 45 minutes after this is all it has ended. Hail fog, hail piles, yeah. Another view. We've been through this, but they're doing it right this time. That poor tree. Hail damage on my chase unit, yeah. And now we're getting back into where we were left off. Yeah, a lot of corn damaged from this hailstorm. Bean field completely wiped out. Another bean field completely wiped out. This camper damaged. Here's a closer up look of the house that got damaged, and there was many of these in Rice Lake. And we are not going to do that because we already showed the warnings on our radar, so I don't need to mess with that. But yeah, the city of Rice Lake pretty much got hammered hard, and there's still a lot of repairs going on from that storm. All right, let's close that out. Let's take a look at this video. I didn't get no video of out there on Highway B. Here's the hail. When I finally, this is the first hail shaft I got into. And that was northwest of Rice Lake. Here's where I ended up hunkering down at because I had no choice. But this hail was huge. And yes, I did encounter the wind on the backside of that. By the way, this video is all, excuse me, all handheld. Except for this. This is tripoded. As you can see, the hail still sitting here. I can't do that, darn it. As you can see, the hail still sitting there with the hail fog. And more hail up there on the golf course. I guess the guy could have went out and did some golfing with the golf ball size hail was sitting there. But I don't golf, so it don't matter. But here's that oak tree again. Pretty much shredded. Here's a wall cloud. Time-lapsed. As you can see, the inflow into that thing never did produce nothing. And that's the end of that one. So you can kind of somewhat see why I was concerned with this storm with the Barron County Fair going on, or just starting up with a lot of people there. The Sheriff's Department did a great job. They got people to safety long before the storm had hit. A lot of damage up in that area. If I bring the radar back up, if I still have it. Let's step back a frame. Barron County Fairgrounds sits about right in here somewhere, close to this area. So you can see they've got hit pretty hard there too. The worst part of the storm was southwest of Rice Lake, basically. Though you ask anybody, it was bad all the way around. Even points to the east of Rice Lake, they had hail too. So we can't forget about them folks either. So yeah, it was a widespread, not widespread hail damage, but there was a lot of hail. You know, it pretty much took out, well, I didn't take out Rice Lake, but pretty much damaged the city of Rice Lake and points west and east. When my initial thinking when I first started this storm chase was to be between Cumberland and Rice Lake, and thinking it was going to be more dropping towards Barron and Cameron and not Rice Lake. But for those that know, when you're out there, things change fast, and you got to change to those changes. So, and it happened quick. I mean, it was a fast changes. To chase these type of storms, you have to be on your A game, because if you're not, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble real quick. Well, anyway, so that puts the wraps on this video. Hopefully I don't have to make one of these in a while.